as our color telecast is being beamed via satellite to servicemen in Germany, Panama, and the Philippines. But
the Tennessee offense will operate with 2 wide receivers. Sometimes they'll use a slot set. Usually they have split backs as their 2 running backs. They've had remarkable balance between passing and running during the season, averaging 181 yards passing per game, running 238, and that's the type of balance, of course, every coach is looking for.
The toss of the coin was won by Tennessee. They are receiving. Lester McLean is deep. Craig Barry's kick now is being looked at by Milam and McLean. It is Milam that has taken the ball for the University of Tennessee and rolls it back to the 40-yard line. Acavena was in on the tackle for the Falcons of the Air Force in blue, or if you're watching in black and white, the dark. As we look at the Tennessee offensive unit, you see that Mike Bevins is the center, Chip Kell, the All-American right guard, the tight end, Gary Thyler, the quarterback, Bobby Scott, McCleary, Kurt Watson. And now with a 1st and 10 from their own 40, Tennessee.
The Air Force basic pattern is a 5-2, and they have a rover man, number 47, Sid Matala. He will call the signals for defensive secondary. The defensive signals for the up lineman will be called by Bauman, number 33.
Pete Williams, the referee, has put the ball at the 42 for Tennessee. 2nd down and 8. The second play from scrimmage here in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. Bobby Scott. What a catch. Beautiful catch by Joe Thompson, number 90. A 6-footer, and he must have gone up another 4 feet to get it.
This is Thompson coming off the line of scrimmage, driving downfield to push Jimmy Smith back, then running the outside break to the sidelines, and he did go high in the air to make the reception.
An 18-yard gain. The initial 1st and 10 of the Sugar Bowl at the Air Force 40 now. Tennessee. A flag goes down as Kurt Watson, the fullback for Tennessee, a 6-footer, was stopped by John Greenlaw.
Air Force likes to jump their defense. They'll move as the quarterback puts his hands under the center. That last-minute jump is designed to destroy the blocking assignments or make the offensive team adjust the blocking assignments. The counter to it, of course, is to go on the first audible of the quarterback.
Pete Williams, the referee from Miami, Florida, indicating an offside penalty against the offensive unit of Tennessee. It'll move the ball back to the 45, and it'll bring up a 1st down and 15. After about a minute of play, we have no score. Tennessee on the right, going toward the Air Force defense. 1st and 15, Bobby Scott. Joe Thompson was the intended receiver, and he had lost his footing as parts of the field here today are slippery.
We've had a couple of days of rain, but beautiful afternoon. There's a little wind blowing from the left side of your screen to the right, but not enough to affect play.
Bobby Scott, the Tennessee quarterback, is from Rossville, Georgia. There he is, 6 feet, 200 pounds. He has thrown 14 touchdown passes. He has a great trio of receivers. See what he goes to now on 2nd and 15. A rollout pass. And it is Thompson again. Thompson at the 25. Now to the Air Force 20. Lost the ball, but caught it on the bounce. Around the 19 of the Falcons. Bill Ballman, number 33, made the stop on number 90, Thompson.
Thompson is the wide receiver from the slot set. He takes the break across the middle, catches the pass, and then turns on the speed. Beautiful move, and he almost drops the ball here, as you can see. In fact, he did drop it, but he got that honest bounce back in his own arms.
So after a 25-yard gain, 1st down Tennessee, around the 19.5 of the Air Force. Thompson to the far side. And Scott keeps it on the ground. A fumble, and let's see about recovery. Watson, the fullback for Tennessee, took the handoff. And the Falcons, they're aggressive. They indicate that they felt they recovered it. But Pete Williams, the official, indicates that Tennessee picks it up at its own 19 for a 2nd and 10.
Air Force has had great success during the season rushing the passer by using the stunts up the middle. That's Bill Battle, the young 29-year-old Tennessee coach. To counter that, thus far, Tennessee has been using the sprint-out pass to avoid that middle rush, running away from it.
2nd down and about 10. Just inside the 20 of the Air Force. Scott. A pinpoint pass to Lester McLean of Nashville, number 85. There were 3 Air Force defenders there at the 5. A 14-yard pickup. It's 1st and goal for Tennessee.
Look at again, McLean running the outside break and getting him perfectly in the seam. Scott thus far has done a truly remarkable job of throwing on the run. His pass has been right on target, and he's been moving as he throws.
He's completed 3 out of 4. Now 1st and goal at the 5 of the Air Force. Going wide. And in. John McCleary of Jackson, Tennessee, number 36, caps a 60-yard march by the Volunteers.
Let's watch the touchdown play again on low angle. You see Scott drop back here as though he's going to start a pass play, and then he runs the option. By making that little drop, the defense starts to rush the passer, and that delay lets McCleary get way out ahead of the quarterback as he tosses the lateral.
And the man that is number 5 in kick scoring in the country, George Hutt of the Volunteers, adds another point on the scoreboard at 12:15 of the 1st quarter. It's a timeout at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana, where the score is Tennessee 7, Air Force nothing. You're looking at a man who scored 17 touchdowns this year, number 1 in the nation. From the Air Force, Ernie Jennings, number 22, 9.6 speed, awaiting the kickoff following a Tennessee touchdown. George Hutt will boot for the Volunteers. Took Tennessee 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go, 60 yards in 8 plays. Watching the ball go into the end zone is number 42, Jim Smith. And it is a touchback. It'll come out to the 20-yard line for the Air Force Academy. And the Falcons now show their potent offense that's averaged over 30 points a game. And there's the team. Split end is Mike Boland, number 83. The tight end, Paul Bassa, 6'5" pass catcher. Bob Parker, Bream, Brennan, and number 22, the flanker, Ernie Jennings. Bob Parker, the Phi Beta Kappa, at quarterback for the Falcons. And Bream, who gained over 1,276 yards this year, is stopped. Did he lose a yard? No, he got back to the line of scrimmage. Emmendorfer and Drummond in on the play for the Tennessee defense.
Air Force will operate out of the I formation and also out of the split backs. Usually they have 2 wide receivers, but they only have 1 on this set.
Out of the I now, the Air Force. And taking advantage of the hole is number 49, Brian Bream, who is a junior. He's only 5 feet 9 inches tall, but he likes his center of gravity very much.
Air Force trying to set up their passing attack by concentrating on the run. They gained 255 yards a game passing during the season, 169 running. If they can make Tennessee respect their running, it will open up the passes for Bob Parker.
Bob Parker with a tremendous 18.1 completions per game. That's quite a record. The first pass is completed to the tall end we were talking about, Paul Bassa. 6'5", 199 pounds. He, like Jennings, on the lean side, but they are good. It's a first down for the Falcons. The hungry underdogs, ranked 11th in the country. Depending a lot on team speed, and there's their coach in his 13th year at the Air Force Academy, Ben Martin, a graduate of the Naval Academy in Annapolis. Jennings now to the far side of 1st and 10 from the 30. And Breen gets the call for about a 5-yard pickup as Tennessee leads 7-0, 10:37 remaining in the 1st quarter.
Tennessee has a rather unusual-looking defense. Their middle guard, Ray Nettles, instead of being on the center, plays erect most of the time, about 1.5 yards off the line of scrimmage, standing between the 2 linebackers, Walker and Rotella. You can see them now. It looks like that middle's wide open, but they'll fill it quickly if necessary.
2nd down and 6 for the Air Force at their own 34. And the deep back loses the ball, Breen, and it is a Tennessee recovery. So an error by the Air Force, and the Volunteers have the ball at the Air Force 34. John Wagster, a sophomore, number 67, knocked the ball loose, and then Tom Bennett recovered it for the Volunteers. For the Volunteers again, Bobby Scott from his own 34. Hitting number 90, Joe Thompson.
Before the game, Coach Bill Battles was saying that he felt the weakest part of the Air Force team, perhaps, was their secondary defense. This is Thompson running the sideline pattern, and he was wide open, as you could see. First down, Tennessee on the 21.
Tennessee in the lead, 7-0, as they march 60 yards, taking the opening kickoff. That distance in 8 plays to score. On the delay, it goes to 31 Watson. Bauman is number 33, the left linebacker. The roverback, Matella, number 47, in on the tackle at approximately the 17-yard line for a 4-yard gain, and Scott now has completed 4 of 5 for 69 yards.
The Air Force has counted all year on superior quickness and speed of their defensive unit, but thus far the Tennessee offense is quicker.
2nd and 6 from the 17 of the Air Force. Scott. This time Thompson couldn't reach a pass that was thrown high. Duke Mitchell, number 17, the defender for the Falcons, the native of Richland, Washington. Putting a rush on Scott, however, was John Greenlaw, the defensive right tackle. It's a 3rd down and 6 from the 17.
Watson did a very fine job of picking Greenlaw off. It appeared to me that he was going to get right to the quarterback, and he came across and picked off that moving target.
Tennessee with 81 yards, the Air Force with 17. The Volunteers lead 7-0, 3rd and 6. And let's see, down at about the 13, not enough for the first down, was Don McCleary, who scored the first touchdown today.
And that delay at the start of the option is a new wrinkle running the option play. I mentioned it before. The key, of course, of the defensive team is when the quarterback drops back, play pass. He drops back and then makes the wide sweep.
The number 5 man in the nation kick scoring, George Hunt, who's kicked 10 of 21. From the 20, plus the 10 of the end zone, a 30-yard field goal attempt is good. So with 8 minutes and 44 seconds remaining in the first quarter, Tennessee gets on the scoreboard again as the Sugar Bowl game is another ABC Sports exclusive. With timeout, the score is Tennessee 10, Air Force nothing. We return to our studios for this message. I guess every youngster would love this 12-foot replica of an F-4 Phantom jet, brought here by the United States Air Force Academy. And there is their scoring threat, number 22, Ernie Jennings, awaiting the Tennessee kick. Jennings at his own 7. Moves out to the 10, the 15, comes wide, is knocked off balance very quickly by Carpenter of Tennessee. So the Air Force fits back to the wall, trailing now 10-0 on a 5-yard touchdown run by McCleary and a 30-yard field goal by Hunt here in the first quarter. The Volunteers on top. From the 15-yard line now, let's see what Bob Parker can muster for the Falcons. Ernie Jennings flanked to the far side of the field. The Sugar Bowl underway. And that Tennessee defense, number 2 against the rush in the country, intercepting 36 passes. They've allowed only 103 points in 11 games.
Let's watch Jackie Walker, strong linebacker, number 52. He slips inside around McKiernan's block and hits Bream behind the line of scrimmage.
And to think he's only a junior, Jackie Walker, number 52 on defense. 2nd and 10 for the Air Force from their own 15. And Bream just couldn't get underway. Number 83, sophomore Frank Howell from Columbia, Tennessee, making the tackle and tacking a loss against the Air Force at the 12. So it'll be 3rd and 13.
It's very difficult for linemen to have the same pattern of timing on their blocks when you have the middle guard off the line of scrimmage as Tennessee plays Nettles. You have those 3 men moving back there, Rotella, Walker, and Nettles, and it breaks down the timing and the balance.
Mike Boland is set to the near side of the field, out of view of the screen as Bob Parker calls for a time out, 1 of 4 allowed college football players in each half. So they'll get back and talk things over right near their own goal line. And with the timeout at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana, we look at the Falcon to score. Tennessee 10, the Air Force nothing. With this smoke. Tulane Stadium, a near-capacity crowd for the 37th annual Sugar Bowl. 7:28 remaining in the first quarter. Tennessee leads the Air Force 10-0. Now the second time, the Air Force in blue or dark jerseys have a 3rd and 13 from their own 12. Bolin and Jennings to the near side as Parker needs to complete a long one. It's batted away. 4th down coming up.
The Air Force
Freer came in to knock it away.
The Air Force will play Ernie Jennings, their great receiver, at either wide position, the split end side or the flanker backside. They'll also slot him. The purpose, of course, of putting in those 3 positions is to get him isolated against various men in the defensive secondary.
So now back to punt. We have the Air Force Academy Scott Ham, who's averaging 41 yards. And back is Bobby Majors, a great athlete for the University of Tennessee. Here's the punt coming down near the 40. A loose ball, scrambled for. David Allen was fielding it for the Volunteers, and it's recovered by Tennessee following a 29-yard kick. You know, beginning next Sunday, January 10th, the award-winning American Sportsman Series returns on ABC. We would like to suggest that you join host Kurt Gowdy next Sunday and each week following the great NBA basketball game of the week for this premiere of the hunting and fishing program, The American Sportsman, on ABC. Tennessee now with the ball at the Air Force 22, 1st down. The fullback, Watson, carried for the Volunteers. As Bobby Scott, the quarterback, has fine field position following the short punt. Ogilvy making the stop for the defensive unit. And this is Smokey, the mascot for the Volunteers. He's a blue-tick coonhound. Now from the 40, it's a 2nd down and 8. McLean to the far side of the field for Tennessee. This is Bobby Scott, number 10. Wow, Lester McLean put a good move on the linebacker, Bauman, who comes back to make the tackle.
The double flanker set was to the bottom of your screen. That isolates McLean all alone with most of the field, and he did make a fine down and out, then hook move. And when he's got room to run, he's as elusive as a halfback.
Metella back there covering for the Air Force on that play. And now it's a 1st and 10 at about the 21 of the Air Force. Breaking a tackle is McCleary for his 2nd touchdown. John McCleary of Jackson, Tennessee. And the Volunteers, ranked 4th in the nation, prove that they are strong and good. And nothing like being upside down on the first day of the year.
First running play that Tennessee has really broken. Air Force had been tough against the run up until that point.
42 yards in 3 plays. Hunt trying for his 2nd conversion, making it good. Signaled by the referee, Pete Williams. Lots of entertainment at halftime by the United States Air Force Academy Band, Drum and Bugle Corps, University of Tennessee Volunteer Pride of the Southland Band, as we look at the touchdown once more.
Scott, the quarterback, turning. McCleary blocking ahead of Kirk Watson. And you can see the line overpowering the Air Force. And Watson breaks cleanly past the line of scrimmage, runs past the linebacker, breaks outside of Jimmy Smith, and then turns on his superior speed to take the ball into the end zone. It's the first clean running play by Tennessee. They've made 38 yards rushing and 87 passing.
George Hunt has kicked the ball, and Jennings has picked it up on the 4, moving out to his own 15, and is brought down near the 21. So it'll be the Air Force getting the ball for the 3rd time. Thus far, they fumbled on a 2nd and 6 at their own 34, the first time they had it. And then Tennessee forced them to punt the next time. And now let's see what Bob Parker can do. The ball is just across the 20, as you see, here at Tulane Stadium in New Orleans. Tennessee in the lead, 17-0. 5:59 to go, first quarter. Second completion to Paul Bassa, number 80, thrown by Bob Parker, and the tackle made by Tim Priest, who this year has 9 interceptions.
I'll be very surprised if Air Force does not move the ball reasonably well during the game. They've been a very consistent offensive football team.
Mitchell is the offensive center for the Air Force Academy, a sophomore from Elkhart, Indiana. Mike Bowen to the near side, and the deep back, Brian Breen, may have gotten a yard out to his own 30. Tom Bennett and Elmendorfer in on the tackle for Tennessee at the 30, and it brings up a 3rd down and 1.
This time, watch number 58, O'Daria Mitchell, as he comes to the line of scrimmage. He will call the blocking signals for the Air Force offensive line.
Jennings and Bowen set to the far side of the field. 3rd and 1. Parker calling number 10 to try for the first down. He's going to be mighty close. First down. Air Force now has 2. Tennessee has 5. But the Volunteers have 17 points on the scoreboard.
And you can be sure on short yardage that Nettles will be up on the line of scrimmage as he was that time. He's off the line of scrimmage if it's normal or long yardage.
It's Bolin, 83, at the bottom of your screen, coming out here as a split end, while to the opposite side we have the flanker, Jennings, from the 31. Jennings. Let's see, the play was blown dead by the official who was right there. It is not a fumble, just an incompletion. David Allen put a hard tackle on Jennings.
Let's take a look at it on dual isolation. You can see Jennings to the right of the screen. The quick fake. Scott Parker sets and throws. The ball is on target, but David Allen is also on target, knocking the ball away from Ernie Jennings.
So from the 31, Air Force, 2nd down and 10. They trail 17-0. Into the flat. Green had the ball, hit hard, fumbles. Tennessee recovers. David Allen again, number 13, putting a hard, charging tackle on the ball carrier. Covering the ball was Rotella, number 57, for Tennessee, and the Air Force now has lost 2 fumbles. This one coming at the Air Force 26.
Ben Martin felt before the game that they could exploit the flats against Tennessee, but the Tennessee defensive secondary has been right on top of Air Force all of the time. They'll have to throw deep to loosen them up.
We'll explain why footballs are being exchanged from time to time. It's not because of weather condition. Right now, it's a 1st and 10 for Tennessee at the Air Force 26. Steve Wald of Port Orange, Florida, number 32 in at fullback, carried on the play for a yard to the 25. But an interesting reason for the 2 footballs today.
Each team has played with their own official ball. The Southeastern Conference has a different official ball than the Air Force Academy or the Western Independence. The offensive team would like to play with a ball they're familiar with.
Stan Trott, number 92, is in the lineup for Tennessee to the near side of the field on 2nd and 9. Scott wants to throw, looking for that man. The pass was on the chest, in and out. Jimmy Smith, number 42, the cornerback, covering.
The balls, whether they're different makes or not, have to conform to regular regulations as to size and the inflation, but there's a little bit of different feel. Some balls have a little more of what we call tackiness. The quarterback would like to play with a ball that he has had the feel and touch of all year.
McLean has replaced Thaler, number 85, is back in the lineup on a 3rd and 9 for the Volunteers. Was he in bounds? Yes. At the 11, 1st and 10, Joe Thompson again on the catch.
Let's take a look at Thompson again. Scott is rolling toward Thompson. He runs the sideline break. Scott throws a perfect strike to him. You can see his feet light inbounds, and then he was hit by Jimmy Smith and knocked out of bounds.
Scott now has thrown 9 times. He has completed 6. For 101 yards, the 2 touchdowns scored by McLeary, the halfback, plus a 30-yard field goal by George Hunt. All this coming in the first quarter. Now we have 3.5 minutes remaining in the first period here at the Sugar Bowl. But we're his feet in bounds.
You can see his foot is definitely in bounds, and he also has the ball here. A well-timed play.
Well, we have a pause in the action here at the Sugar Bowl. We'd like to remind you that tomorrow on ABC's Wide World of Sports at 3 Eastern, the World Cup Alpine Skiing Championships from Val d'Isère, France. Now, this is a major international skiing event which counts toward the cherished World Cup, which signifies supremacy in the world of men's and women's skiing. From Val d'Isère, beautifully done skiing. And at 3 Eastern and 4:30 Pacific time, those are the correct times, this Val d'Isère skiing will be joined by the National Drag Racing Championships from Indianapolis, Indiana. Now, you'll see the leading dragsters taking part in Top Fuel, Top Gas, and Funny Car events in the most prestigious drag racing event of the year. All this on Wide World of Sports, beginning another year. Thompson now has caught the ball 3 times, 44 yards. McLean has 3 catches for 57 yards. 1st and 10 from the 11 for Tennessee. Wide open. Gary Thyler from Louisville, Kentucky. Just waited for the ball and waltzed in.
The Air Force secondary got confused. I believe that they were trying to switch after the snap of the ball, and Mitchell was coming to the inside, and the receiver, of course, wide open.
So it is 23-0. George Hunt now trying for his 3rd point after, with Jimmy Maxwell holding. The kick is good. 3 minutes, 21 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Those are the Tennessee cheerleaders, and wait till you see and hear their band at halftime. It's an award-winning one, too. The Pride of the Southland, and you'll hear from the United States Air Force Academy Band and Drum and Bugle Corps.
Let's take a look at the touchdown again. Scott faking and then drilling the ball, and you can see the defensive halfback, Mitchell of Air Force, moving to the inside as the pass was thrown to the outside, and that defensive error let the receiver be wide open.
All right, what the Falcons of the Air Force need now is for 22 to bust one here on the kick following the 3rd Tennessee touchdown. Jennings at the 5, 10, 15. Bowling forward across his own 20. So Bob Parker and the Falcons now will get it there as Caldwell made the tackle on Jennings. Let's see, we have a marker, and the yardage just stepped off against Tennessee. Could be a piling on penalty.
Tennessee has had remarkable field position in the first quarter. Air Force has had the ball 4 times, and that penalty moved it out to the 36, but they'd had it on the 23 times and the 15-yard line once had it not been for that penalty.
That personal foul penalty has the ball now at approximately the 36 for the Air Force. We're in the first quarter. Bob Parker, number 10, 49 Breen, 34 Brennan. Jennings, and he was interfered with. I think a videotape replay may back a judgment call of the official too, Bud.
But we've talked a little bit about the people being double covered, but watch how many Tennessee men are on Jennings. He's on the right of the screen, Parker on the left, Parker dropping back. Parker rolling slightly. Jennings stops, breaks to the outside as Parker delivers the ball, and now watch the number of Tennessee people that come in here. And I believe that he is interfered with because he's hit from behind. The ball bounces loose. There are 2 Tennessee men on top of him and 2 more right with him.
So it goes from the Air Force 36 to the Tennessee 46. First down for the Air Force. About 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Parker. And he finds Basso. Paul Basso, who this year caught 38 passes for an offensive unit that averaged over 30 yards. Tim Priest, the All-America, on the tackle at the 34. First down, 12-yard gain.
Fine execution by Parker. A good fake to Brennan, and then raising up and being right on target as he hits Basso.
Now Jennings goes left, Bolin 83 to the right from the Tennessee 34. There's Jennings. David Allen is one of the more aggressive cornerbacks on defense that we've seen all year. He's from Athens, Georgia. And an Air Force Academy cadet in his date.
A little bit discouraged for the moment, but perhaps the Air Force can put one on the board here.
And now a dog has appeared here on the first day of 1971. There he goes to the far side. It's like a lovely shepherd breed or collie here in New Orleans, Louisiana. Very proudly, scared, no doubt. Smokey, the blue tick coonhound, he wants to
be in the act
I hope
also.
he doesn't mistake that dog for a raccoon. Smokey, cool it, and going to the opposite end of the field, scoring more yardage than anybody, is that border collie. Meanwhile, barking is Smokey.
Would anyone like to adopt a puppy?
The PA announcer saying anyone would like to adopt a puppy. I wouldn't mind having that one. That dog's got plenty of spirit and elusiveness.
And great stamina.
This is probably the reason that ABC developed the split screen, ladies and gentlemen, so that our animal world could be properly shown at New Year's Day Classic. Look out, Smokey. He's on the left. Smokey now getting a little closer, of course, in tow of his handler. There. Let's be friends. Well, of course, the first time that the Tennessee Volunteers came to New Orleans was in 1815. And it was the Volunteers led by Andrew Jackson. And they were the underdogs, but they came out on top just like the Border Collie is here.
He's a real scatback. No one can lay a glove on him.
He now has 195 total yards in the game. 2 touchdowns, 1 at each end. And now daring the Tennessee cheerleaders. Moving out to midfield where Pete Williams, the referee, did not convince her or him that it's time to quit.
He's going to get that third score.
There
right
it is,
here.
the third score, Bud. Beautifully called. Now, 194 yards. Our video is 50 yards off. Well, this is the longest delay that I've seen in over 400 football telecasts over a long period of time. Well, I know there are millions watching, and here in Sugar Bowl Stadium, speaking of animals. All right, here we go. Second down and 10. Batted away. That was a second down and 10 play. Frank Howell standing up, and the Tennessee offensive lineman couldn't get her either. Time of possession.
That's the dog's possession of the game.
And if that dog knew that it might cause us to miss an airplane later, he'd stop. All right. Third down and 10 for the Air Force. Intended for Mike Boland, number 83, is Parker now, has completed 4 of 9 for 21 yards.
It's awfully hard, seriously, to maintain your momentum on offense when you have that long delay and the crowd being more distracted by the dog than anything else. The players just lose that sense of timing.
Air Force Academy has a field goal kicker in the name of Craig Barry, who's kicked 9 of 20, but the punter comes in with the line of scrimmage at the 34, the punter being Scott Ham, who is number 7 in the nation. Pinpoint kicking and downed inside the Tennessee 10. 27-yard boot, but a very effective one as Terry Peace covers the ball. And now that poor, frightened animal. You'd think, oh, she took a nab at one of the men in blue here. That poor animal, I feel so sorry for her because
they really would like to get her out.
Yes.
She'd like to get out.
Of course she would. Now Tennessee with the ball at the 8-yard line, their own 8. A loose ball, look out, here may be. It is an Air Force touchdown by Darrell Haas. He signaled a touchdown, but I wonder if he meant it. Apparently.
He did fumble in the end zone, Chris, and Haas did make the recovery.
There's number 53 from Corpus Christi, Texas, a junior. So it is a 24-6 ball game. And now trying for the point after touchdown will be Barry, who has 38 of 44 this year. Sid Metella holding number 47. He's a defensive back for the Air Force. The kick is up and good. I think that's the first touchdown in that manner that we've seen scored this year.
We had one sort of like it in Notre Dame Southern California game, but let's watch it again. The bad snap, or at least the snap from center, got right past Scott. Scott tries to pick it up here. He does pick it up all right. His momentum carries him into the end zone where it would be a safety anyway, but the hard pursuit of the Air Force, swarming all over Scott, causes him to fumble, and there's the ball lying loose. Haas came in. Here he comes. On top of the ball for the Air Force score.
And we still have 1 minute and 56 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Lester McLean, 85 and 40. Kevin Milam, deep. Craig Berry of the Air Force about to kick as we look at one of the Prairie Falcons. 2 of them. And 2 men in on the tackle following a wobbly short kick. It was Wold, the reserve fullback, who tried to return it and is stopped at the 41. Minute 51 left in the first quarter. Tennessee has the ball. The last time they had it, Bobby Scott fumbling the ball into the end zone, recovered by the Air Force, so it's 24-7. Scott pitching it out. A flag goes down. Kurt Watson, number 31, the fullback, carrying Scott Ham in on the play, along with Haas, who scored the Air Force touchdown. A shift penalty against Tennessee.
Tennessee has remarkable speed. The Air Force secondary, the Air Force defensive linebackers are very quick, very fast, but they're a step slower, at least thus far, than the Tennessee offensive team.
5-yard penalty, bringing it back to the 36. It'll be 1st and 15.
Tennessee has had remarkable field position in the first quarter. Other than that punt that was dead on the 8 before the fumble, they have always gotten the ball outside of their own 40-yard line.
Even the Red Baron is here today. Scott. A remarkable catch by Stan Trott, a sophomore from Montgomery, Alabama, number 92. As number 47, Metalla, went for the interception. Trott's timing was fantastic, stopping at the 19.
Metalla had him covered beautifully.
Scott now has thrown 11 times. He has completed 8. That one good for 46 yards. Watson thrown for a 1-yard loss by the Air Force defense.
Let's watch the long pass play again in slow motion. Roll out by Scott. He's rushed. He steps up inside, fires the ball. You can see Metalla back there in good position, but he just doesn't go quite as high as Trott. who makes a fine reception. Matala hanging on to prevent the touchdown.
Joe Thompson, number 90, at the top of your screen. Second down and 11 for Tennessee at the Air Force 20. Scott intended for number 90, Joe Thompson, the junior from Savannah, Tennessee.
The pass protection of the Tennessee line has been perfect thus far. Scott has had ample time to throw. Many observers feel that the strength of this Tennessee team is their senior interior line. Chip Kell, number 50 at right guard, a consensus All-American.
So for the Volunteers, it's a third down and 11. From their own 20, McLean 85 with a flanker to the far side. Dropping one to Stan Wold, who picks up 5 yards. And it'll be a fourth down coming up. Bauman, 33, the linebacker on the tackle. Scott now has helped gain 162 yards passing in the first quarter. Well, 11 seconds. Clock running, remaining in the first period. Now we have a Hunt attempt on a severe angle from the 22 plus the 10 of the end zone. 32-yard kick, but the whistle blew prior to the boot. Time had expired in the period, so we'll exchange ends of the field. And Bud, how
this will give him a chance to kick with the wind.
That's right. At the end of the first quarter, the score is Tennessee 24, the Air Force Academy 7. We return to our studios for this message. We're awaiting the very first play of the second quarter. Here at the Sugar Bowl, Tennessee 24, the Air Force 7. In that first quarter, Tennessee with 3 touchdowns, the Air Force with 1, and the Dog 4 touchdowns. Now, the attempt at the 32-yard field goal by George Hunt. He has a 30-yarder to his credit today. It's long enough. No good. Pete Williams, the referee, with the indication. So the Air Force Falcons will get the ball at their own 20-yard line for their first play of the second quarter here at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. Temperature about 60 degrees, partially blue overhead, sun coming through.
Tennessee dominating play in the first quarter. Not many more offensive plays, 23-17, but total yards 190-34, and the 2 Air Force fumbles resulted in 2 Tennessee touchdowns. Time of possession, Tennessee 9 minutes and 13 seconds, Air Force 5:47.
Mike Boland and Jennings to the near side. Parker going opposite and throwing in that direction. Too long. Intended for Paul Bassar. In addition to Congressman Hebert of Louisiana here at the game, we have the Secretary of Defense, Melvin Laird, watching the game and having joined in the festivities for the past 2 or 3 days here in the exciting vacation city of New Orleans. Bob Parker, number 10. Second down and 10 for the Falcons at their own 20. Boland to the right, Jennings in the slot. Boland and Jennings flooding the right side of the field, and Boland made the catch at approximately the 41. 21-yard gain.
Fake to Bream froze the linebackers, kept them from dropping off in front of the pass. Let's take a look at it again. Boland was the wide receiver breaking to the inside. Parker was perfectly on target.
And now Boland goes to the far side of the field. Jennings is up on the line as a split end. First down. And pinching in was the defensive end, Ronnie Drummond. He was there first, then joined by the left defensive end, Tom Bennett, 86. And coming through the middle, Rotella.
Let's watch it again on the dual isolation. The fake. Parker is going to set now to try to throw back, but number 88, Drummond, coming from the offside, is all over him before he can deliver the ball. It looks as though Jennings was open. By rolling away from Jennings, they believe that they take the double coverage off.
So it'll be a second down and 17 from the 34 of the Air Force. Parker. Mike Boland. Bolin, number 83, coming back. The pass is completed up around the 44-yard line. So we have a gain of approximately 10. It'll be 3rd down and 7. Tennessee is in the lead 24-7 with 13 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the first half. At halftime today, the Tennessee Pride of the Southland Band, along with the Air Force Academy Band, Drum and Bugle Corps. Jennings to the near side of the field. Bolin opposite. Intended for Bolin. So it'll be a 4th down and 7 for the Falcons. Majors and Priest. Numbers 44 and 26 covering on the play.
At that time, Parker, you could see check signals. He looked out, saw that Jennings was going to be double covered. Called the play away from Jennings, but overthrew the ball.
Single safety is Scott Ham, number 26. Bobby Majors is back there also. Scott Ham rather is punting, and it's Majors looking up at the ball into the sun. Fine catch by this athlete. Majors returns it to his own 40 following a 36-yard punt by Scott Ham, and Scott made the tackle on Majors.
Fine blocking here, and also some great moves by Majors. You can see him avoiding a tackler here, and then picking up an excellent block from Drummond. Sliding past another Air Force tackle, number 76, Byery, and finally brought down to the 41-yard line.
Majors is also the Tennessee punter and a defensive back. From the 41, Bobby Scott.
Jimmy Smith
for Gary Filer.
And Jimmy Smith was very close to the interception.
Jimmy Smith, who is a native of Colorado Springs, Colorado, which is the site of the academy. Parker back into the Tennessee huddle. We have a Tennessee squad of 50 players, and on this squad of 50, there are 24 sophomores. What a team. 2nd and 10. Steve Wold, number 32, the fullback, carrying on the play. Darrell Haas making the tackle. With the ball at the 42, it's a 3rd down and 9 for Tennessee, and this is 29-year-old Bill Battle, graduate of Alabama.
The Air Force defense against rushing has been excellent. They've held Tennessee to 29 yards and 11 rushing plays.
Joe Thompson to the far side, 3rd down. Well, it was tapped first at midfield and then trapped. It looked intended for Thyler, and Joe Thompson was the second man as we look at Coach Ben Martin.
And both receivers were open.
There you see Ben Martin's record, 68 won and 60 lost with 7 ties. The newest of the service academies in Colorado Springs. Majors now punting. And it's picked up by Sid Matella at approximately the 20-yard line as Majors' kick travels 39-yard line. 39 yards, rather. This is the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans with timeout. The score, Tennessee 24, the Air Force 7. With 11 minutes and 41 seconds remaining in the first half, Tennessee leads the Air Force in the Sugar Bowl 24-7. Following a Bobby Majors punt, we now have a 1st and 10 at approximately the 22 for the Air Force. Mike Bolin and Jennings, 22 to the far side. Bob Parker, the Air Force quarterback. And Green, who gained nearly 1,300 yards this year, thrown for a loss by Ray Nettles and teammates Rotella and Howell.
Green averaged 4.3 per carry during the regular season. Thus far today, I believe he has minus yardage.
The Air Force has rushed the ball 10 times against the Tennessee defense for 1 net yard. 2nd down and 13 now at the 19. The Air Force. Bolin, Jennings to the wide side of the field. And it's completed to Jennings. That's his first catch of the ball game, coming in with a total of 74 and 17 touchdowns.
Let's look at it again. Jennings at the left of the screen, driving downfield as Parker rolls out toward Jennings. Jennings is 9'6". He makes the hook pattern. You can see the two Tennessee defenders with him, but the ball is thrown perfectly right at the numerals for the reception.
And sufficient for the 1st and 10 for the Falcons at the 33-yard line now. Tennessee leading 24-7. Jennings to this side of the field. And a very quick one to the tight end, Paul Bassa, number 80. And Parker now limbering the arm, getting a little better cooperation from his teammates, has moved the Air Force to the 48.
The quick fake of the handoff that time to Bream freezes the linebacker, Rotella, and the pass is thrown so quickly that the defensive halfback cannot get up quickly enough to block the pass.
Bassa now with 4 catches as the Air Force moving from its own 48 with a 1st down. Parker. And Bassa again. For a little gain as Tim Priest diagnosed the play beautifully, number 26 in the orange jersey if you're watching in color. And the Air Force now has earned its way for the first time into Tennessee territory with the forward pass, and they get to the Tennessee 48 for a gain of 4 to be a 2nd down and 6.
And Tennessee's domination very clear in those statistics.
It's Jennings to the near side. The flanker is Bolin, 83. And down again. Frank Howell. That's the 3rd tipped attempt at a forward pass by Howell from Columbia, Tennessee, the sophomore. Now, he's only 5 feet 11. I was going to point out that Bob Parker, the quarterback for the Air Force, is a 6-footer.
Those passes that are thrown from very close to the line of scrimmage cut down the trajectory of the quarterback, and it's much easier to block them when he doesn't get back his full 6 or 7 yards.
Mike Bolin to the near side, Jennings opposite, 3rd and 6. And Bolin with the reception, but did he fumble? Happening in front of the crowd, the Tennessee bench, we have an interception. Wow.
Let's watch it again. Number 83, Bolin, will be going against number 13, David Allen of Tennessee. You can see Allen's feet at the top of the picture. Outside break. It looked like he had the ball, and Allen simply came in and took it away from him. That's the first interception. They had 36 interceptions during the season.
Now from the 41, Tennessee. Beautiful move by McCleary, getting the handoff from Scott. Matella, number 47, on the tackle. This is the 3rd major error for the Air Force. They lost 2 fumbles and now an interception.
Let's watch the interception again in slow motion. It's not as much of an interception really as a steal. Bolin turns. He makes the catch. Allen comes in and steals the ball from him. You can see him take it away there and then go out of bounds.
1st down play from the Air Force 47. And it was Steve Wold, the 208-pound fullback, that moved nearer the 40 where Jimmy Smith tackled him. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. What has been a potent Tennessee offense now with a 2nd and 4 at the Air Force 41. McLean 85, flanked left. McCleary. Mayfield, one of the Air Force tacklers, number 61, as we look at Bob Parker, the quarterback for the Falcons.
Parker is a remarkable student. He has a 3.76 grade average out of a possible 4.0. He's an engineering mechanics major.
Bevins ready to snap the ball to the quarterback, Bobby Scott, on a 3rd down and 4 at the Air Force 41. Trying to get that 4 yards on a pinpoint pass, Joe Thompson. Thompson, number 90. Covered by Jimmy Smith, number 42, in the Air Force blue jersey. So the gain is enough. Coming to the 35, Tennessee 1st down. Tennessee has 11, the Air Force 5. McCleary, who has scored 2 touchdowns on the ground for Tennessee. Tackled by Mayfield and number 33, Phil Bauman.
The Air Force line defense continues to be reasonably effective against the running plays, but they have not been able to pressure Scott at all when he's back to pass. If their defense is going to hold up, they have got to break down the timing on the pass by getting a better rush.
Regular fullback Kurt Watson is in the lineup now, number 31 on a 2nd down and 8. And the pass goes to the fullback, number 31, Kurt Watson. Bauman on the tackle as we look at Air Force coach Ben Martin.
And you're thinking, what can I do? And if you don't have that extra step of speed, there's not too much you can do.
He advances to the 26. A gain of 7, so now Tennessee with a 3rd and 1. Pretty good statistics for Bobby Scott in the first half, 11 of 17. 3rd and 1 here. Gary Filer. And a fumble. Air Force has it. Tennessee making an error as the Air Force comes up with the football. And Haas, who recovered the loose ball in the end zone for the only Air Force touchdown, recovers the loose ball again.
That was a unusual call at 3rd and 1 to throw the pass. It gives you an idea of Scott's confidence.
So now the Falcons, who have seemingly always been deep in their own territory, will try to move it from the 17. Mike Boland, 83 to the near side. Jennings, 22 opposite.
Chris mentioned field position. The Air Force has had the ball 7 times. The best field position they've had is their own 22-yard line on an exchange.
Kevin Brennan, the fullback from Chicago, Illinois, number 34, carried on the play. His advance about 3 yards near the 20. 2nd and 7. Jackie Walker tackling for Tennessee, and Wagster. There you see Jennings up on the line and split. Boland at the very top of your screen. Parker, number 10. Loose ball. Bobby Majors recovers it for Tennessee. David Allen put the hard tackle on again on Mike Boland. Wow.
Boland getting one-on-one coverage from Allen. Let's watch him now. He's the wide receiver. Little inside quick throw. He has the ball, but he's hit so hard by Allen he can't quite hold it after making the catch. And the Air Force takes over after the 4th. Pardon me, Tennessee takes over after the 4th Air Force turnover.
And they have the ball at the Air Force 27, 1st down. And Bobby Scott, the senior quarterback, stopped by Haas. And Charles Richardson, number 24. At the 22 now, it'll be a 2nd down and 5 for the Volunteers, who are appearing in their 6th Sugar Bowl Classic. In the football history of Tennessee, it's their 18th bowl game. McLean, 85 of Tennessee to the far side. Filer to the near side split. That was intended for Lester McLean. Covered by Jimmy Smith. So it's a 3rd down and 5.
McLean was so anxious to turn up the field that he couldn't quite bring himself to go back far enough to make the catch.
Annually in the Sugar Bowl, there is a Most Valuable Player Award, the Miller-Digby Award, last year won by Archie Manning. So do your own judging now as you watch these two teams, 11th ranked Air Force and 4th ranked Tennessee in the 37th Classic. That was Kurt Watson on a 3rd down and about 5.
And you can see how quickly Tennessee snapped the ball. The moment they were at the line of scrimmage and set for the 1 second, they went on the first audible. That's to prevent the Air Force from jumping their defense.
It appears that a measurement is coming up. The first of the afternoon, as we have 5 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in the first half. Tennessee leading 24-7. So we've had no scoring here in the second quarter. The 31 points total coming in the first period. It's a 1st down for Tennessee. Number 12 for the Volunteers. at the 18-yard line. And Watson goes through, and he is swarmed over by many cadets, including Darrell Haas, John Greenlaw, number 72, number 71, Buster Alloway from San Antonio, and Sid Matala. The gain is good for 3. So it'll be a 2nd down and 7 for Tennessee. Thompson goes left. McLean, 85, to the right. McCleary and Watson set. McCleary. Richardson, number 24, there he is, diagnosing the play. He's the rover back.
A sure tackle.
And a loss of 3. It'll be 3rd down and 10. 4 minutes, 26 seconds remaining in the first half. 24-7. Tennessee in the lead. They have the ball.
Long time in the huddle usually indicates a pass play. It takes a little longer sometimes to call the signal for the pass.
McLean, 85, is left. Thompson to the right. Here's Bobby Scott. And down the middle to Thyler. Inside the 15-yard line, Phil Bauman putting the tackle on number 20. Bauman now with 7 tackles in this Sugar Bowl Classic. 5-yard gain. It's going to be a 4th down and 5. And let's see, number 9 is in the lineup. George Hunt to try his 3rd field goal. 10 of 21 during the season. In the first quarter, he kicked a 30-yarder and tried a 32-yarder the first play of the second quarter to no avail. And this one is 30 yards in length and no good. So the Air Force gets the ball 1st and 10 at its own 20. ABC brings you the best in college football for your holiday season enjoyment with timeout the score. Tennessee 24, Air Force 7. We return to our studios for this message. Our ABC color camera in the Goodyear Blimp Columbia, high above Tulane University Stadium, side of the Sugar Bowl. As we look at the Columbia now, piloted by Richard Thompson. We're back down on the field, 24-7, 3:24 remaining in the first half. Tennessee leads. The Air Force, following the missed 30-yard field goal, has the ball at the 20. And a loss tacked on Bream.
That line penetrated so much that Parker almost handed it off to a defensive lineman.
Including Ray Nettles and Claude Simonton from Covington, Tennessee. Bream now 7 carries, -3 yards. The ball at the 18, 2nd down and 12. And going up for the ball, number 44, Bobby Majors from Sewanee, Tennessee, and his dad, Shirley Majors, is the football coach at Sewanee College, and we have the 5th Air Force turnover.
3 fumbles, 2 interceptions.
So now from the 30-yard line, it's Tennessee in Air Force territory. Thompson left, number 90, 85 McLean to the right. And it's Watson, the fullback, the junior, carrying on the play, and Mayfield coming up to help tackle. There you see the time remaining in the first half. Great halftime show coming up. Four-yard gain by Tennessee. 2nd down and 6. Thompson at the top of your screen. And Watson, a determined runner, as the Falcon flutters on the far sideline. Scott Ham and Evans Whaley make the stop.
McCleary moved up to the wingback position to really set up what looked to be a passing formation. Then he led as a fullback would lead on the option play.
You see the measurement short of a first down, and referee Pete Williams and his staff bring it into the hash marks. So it'll be a 3rd down and inches for the Volunteers of Tennessee. 10 victories, 1 loss, that being to Auburn. And Bud, it appears we have a tearaway jersey on the fullback.
You got to hang on with anything you can against this team.
Third down inches. Any doubts? It was Watson. Haas on the tackle, and it's another Tennessee first down just across the 15. Watson has carried the ball 8 times for 32 yards. In the rushing department, McCleary has scored 2 of the Tennessee touchdowns. Tennessee in the lead, 24-7. A minute 34 remaining in the first half. Joe Thompson left, McLean to the right. Loose ball. Air Force, Bowman. Phil Bowman coming up with the football. Scott was trying to pitch it out to McCleary.
Air Force has been thoroughly dominated, but they've been able to keep Tennessee scoreless in this quarter.
That's the third lost fumble by the Volunteers. We have a timeout here at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana, where the score is Tennessee 24, Air Force 7.
Here in this cold storage warehouse, inside this huge ice cube, is an automobile. Okay, fellas. There's actually a waterproof car frozen inside this block of ice to prove a point about dry Sunoco gasoline. The point? Even after 27 hours in this freezing cold, dry Sunoco gasoline starts this car. Just like that.
Get dry Sunoco and get the bonus of 260 action in every gallon from regular on up.
So this winter, fill up with dry Sunoco gasoline.
Only Sunoco has 260 action, and every gallon is dry.
Here at the Sugar Bowl, Bud, we've had 8 turnovers.
The fake of the pass here, this is the fumble. The option by Scott. He threw the ball a little bit behind McCleary. Bauman of the Air Force comes in to make the recovery. That's the 3rd time Tennessee has fumbled the ball and turned it over to the Air Force. Air Force has 5 turnovers, as you can see.
Now with the ball at the 25 for the Falcons. First down. Parker pitching it to Bream. Bream getting about 5 yards on the play. Ray Nettles on the tackle at the 30-yard line, so it'll be a 2nd down and 5. Running out of time in the first half with 1:04 to go. Mike Bowen is split to the near side. Jennings is opposite. Parker is nailed and loses the ball. A teammate recovers.
Let's watch it again, dual isolation. See the receivers driving downfield. That's Jennings on the left. And this is Drummond coming in. It appeared that Parker had gotten away, but he was caught from behind, turn, twist, the ball pops loose. But fortunately, his teammate was in on the ball, Fisher making the recovery for the Air Force Academy.
And it brings up a 3rd down and 9 from the Air Force 26. You know, tomorrow on ABC, the annual East-West Shrine football game will be originating in Oakland, California at 4:30 Eastern Time. You'll see an all-star team of seniors from the East led by Leo Hart from Duke, John Moorhead of Michigan, Stan Brown of Purdue, as they take on the West All-Stars led by Chuck Hickson of SMU, Dennis Dummett from UCLA, Mel Gray of Missouri, and Elmo Wright of Houston. That's the East-West Shrine game tomorrow, ABC, 4:30 Eastern Time. Bill Fleming and Don Meredith are out there and ready to go to add to your holiday enjoyment tomorrow on ABC. 3rd down and 9 now from the 26. Mike Bowen and Jennings over the near side of the field. Basso opposite. Bream. Gives you a little better idea of why Bream gained nearly 1,300 yards on the ground this year, as Rotella makes the tackle at the 33, Bud.
And Tennessee taking timeout. That's the first timeout, second timeout that they have called. They have 2 timeouts remaining with 21 seconds left on the clock.
Bud, what's your next football game?
Chris, we're going to have the very great privilege and enjoyment of doing the Hula Bowl game from Honolulu.
That's right. That's a week from tomorrow, January 9th, and then the NBA Professional Basketball All-Star Game from San Diego on the night of January 12th. All this on ABC. Scott Ham is back to punt. It's a 4th down and 2. Bobby Major is deep. And out of bounds. And fielded by number 90 of Tennessee, Joe Thompson, who now goes back to work with the offensive unit of the Volunteers. Speaking of Thompson, we indicated that he lives in Savannah, Tennessee. Now, his folks just moved the entire family to Savannah, Georgia. And let's see, Mr. Thompson is to the far side of the field from the 38. Scott looking. And pulling the ball down for the Air Force Falcons is Jimmy Smith, number 42 from Colorado Springs. Another turnover.
That one you can't really call a turnover much. It was a prevent defense by the Air Force. With only 21 seconds, they had everybody back, and their 2 defensive halfbacks were simply playing the field as outfielders. The ball was thrown along, and the interception resulted.
That is the 9th turnover that we've had in the ball game. We have 5 seconds remaining in the first half.
One of the things we haven't mentioned too directly is the pressure the Tennessee line has put on Parker. They've nailed him 3 times.
Bob Parker was nailed only 5 times the entire season, Bud. It was intended for Jennings. Again, Parker was pressured. Tim Priest was covering in the secondary for Tennessee. As time runs out, first half, Sugar Bowl. We have a great halftime of entertainment coming up. The score here at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans is Tennessee 24, Air Force 7. We return to our studios for this message. An aerial view of Tulane Stadium, site of the 37th annual Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana. It's halftime, and the University of Tennessee leading the Air Force Academy of Colorado Springs 24-7. And the musical representatives of the United States Air Force Academy are on the field, as you see USAF spelled out. We have the combined Academy Band Drum and Bugle Corps directed by Richard Thurston, as they just presented a musical salute to the men and women of the United States Air Force with those magnificent men and their flying machines. And in the background, the skyline of New Orleans with part of the crescent bend of the mighty Mississippi River. And there you see that the letters USAF have changed to form the scales of justice. And we'll be hearing 32 bars of America the Beautiful. Commentator in the background for the Academy, Master Sergeant Charles Gardner. The Air Force Academy Band, Drum and Bugle Corps here at the Sugar Bowl. Halftime, Tennessee leading the Air Force 24-7. In the background, the Academy announcer says, in an Independence Hall of Philadelphia, the Liberty Bell stands today as a lasting reminder of the signing of our Constitution, which, as you know, established the rights we still continue to cherish and enjoy. And may this Liberty Bell, formed by the United States Air Force Academy Band, ring out in all its splendor. Incidentally, the drum major for the Academy Band is Senior Master Sergeant William Stokes. And from the Liberty Bell formation, you'll see the band, Drum and Bugle Corps, forming a firecracker. And as indicated in the background by the Academy announcer, the firecracker, they're exploding a few of their own here. And in this particular area with their escorts, the Queen and her court, the Queen being Miss Bonnie Martin from Ashland, Louisiana. Stars and Stripes Forever by the United States Air Force Academy Band, Drum and Bugle Corps. Now coming up with the Grand Ole Flag, which you probably remember was written by George M. Cohan. And on the far side of the field, you'll see the color guard of the Air Force Cadet Wing, Colorado Springs. chimes by the bugles. It's the United States Air Force that wishes all of you a Happy New Year. And the band will be stepping off the field, and they'll be playing a most inspirational song, we believe, the Air Force song. The Sugar Bowl is being brought to you by Go, the battery for fast starts, for sure starts, for the life of your car, at Exide and Willard Dealers. By Chevrolet, see the 71 Chevys at your dealer now, because Chevy's back. And by your independent insurance agent, who reminds you insurance is too important to entrust to an amateur, so see a pro. You'll find him where you find this big I symbol. Beginning next Sunday at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC, America's premier hunting and fishing series returns. The award-winning American Sportsman. Now here to tell you about it is host Kurt Gowdy. The University of Tennessee is in the lead at halftime in the Sugar Bowl, 24-7 over the Air Force Academy. This is the pride of the Southland Band, representing the university in Knoxville, with Jerry Field, the drum major, and the head majorette, Rosemary Payne, and the featured twirler, Karen Oakes. And today, the band presents a study in variety with songs, styles, and patterns. And the first tune that they'll be presenting here at halftime in the Sugar Bowl, from the hills of Tennessee, the style, the exciting Nashville sound, an old favorite, that old Mountain Dew. Members, including the flag bearers with many Tennessee flags, but all the flags of the member schools of the Southeast Conference, which is a salute to a great football conference headed by Tonto Coleman. A precision drill is about to unfold to the music of John Philip Sousa's Rifle Regiment March. Southern bells in the field here at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana. All part of the Pride of the Southland Band, directed by Dr. J. Julian of the University of Tennessee. And standing by, a very distinguished guest, the Secretary of Defense, Melvin Laird. We'll be chatting to him before the second half gets underway. This band is very famous for its circular motions. And it's going around in circles this very moment. And the tune in the background, I Ain't Done Yet. That's certainly a beautiful shot from the Goodyear blimp, isn't it? Here in New Orleans, Louisiana, we hope you're watching in color our live telecast presenting the 37th Sugar Bowl with the University of Tennessee in the lead 24-7. Now you'll see the circular motions being completed momentarily, and then the band will go into concert formation with a very stirring rendition of the Battle Hymn of the Republic. Beautifully done by the University of Tennessee Band. Halftime and the music are over. Coming up next, the second half, an interview with Secretary Laird. The score here in New Orleans, Louisiana, is Tennessee 24, the Air Force 7. I think we have a most recognizable guest, the Secretary of Defense, Melvin Laird. Happy New Year, sir.
Happy New Year to you, Chris. It's great to be here with you at Sugar Bowl.
It certainly is, and it's wonderful that your family could join you in being guest of Congressman Hebert in his home territory.
Well, it's a great treat to be down here, and it's very nice to spend the day with my family. The Air Force Academy came out of the chutes a little slow in that first half, but I think they'll be back in there, and we can have a look forward to a good ball game in the second half.
I know you feel very strongly how athletics relate to the men at our service academies, all three of them.
Yes, I do. I happen to have served on the board of visitors of all three of the service academies during my 9 terms in the Congress, and I think the athletic programs are most important to the development of these career officers for our Army, Navy, Air Force, and for the Marine Corps. The intramural programs, along with the varsity ball programs, are most important, I think, to the career development as far as our officer personnel is concerned.
I know you travel far and wide, and you've been, of course, to all three service academies, and Bud and I feel that I don't think we've ever met finer men than those at West Point, Annapolis, and at the Air Force Academy.
They're a fine group of young Americans, but as the Tennessee coach said last night, we need these volunteers too, and we're looking forward to moving towards volunteer service, and we're looking at all of the young men and women at our college campuses all over. And we hope we can have a volunteer service so that we don't have to rely upon selective service, and so the Volunteers of Tennessee are important too.
Good fortune, good health in 1971, Mr. Secretary, and thanks for coming up at halftime.
Nice to be with you, Chris. Happy New Year.
And now back to Bud Wilkinson.
Tennessee kicked off. George Hunt kicking off. The kick was taken by Jim Smith of the Air Force Academy, who returned the ball to the 26-yard line, where it's Air Force 1st and 10.
Nice job, Bud Wilkinson. Good play-by-play. So, the Air Force Academy, which the Secretary hoped would come out of the chute here in the second half, has the ball at the 26-yard line. This is Green carrying on the play.
The surprising thing about the first half were the number of turnovers. Tennessee had 3 fumbles and 1 interception. The Air Force had 3 fumbles and 2 interceptions. There are the statistics, and you can see total domination by Tennessee. 269 total yards against 101 for the Air Force, and the turnovers that I talked about a moment ago. Tennessee had the ball 17 minutes and 33 seconds of the first 30 minutes.
So a loss of a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 11. As again, the forward pass is batted down, this time by Ronnie Drummond. He's the defensive right end for Tennessee. The score here is 24-7. We're in the opening minute of the second half in the Sugar Bowl. Tennessee is in the lead as we look at the Air Force Falcon offensive lineup. Tight end number 80, Bassett, with Parker, Breen, Brennan, and Jennings in the backfield. And now it's a 3rd down and 11 as Jennings goes to the far side of the field, number 22. Parker is calling signals, number 10. And as we indicated, in 11 seasonal games, Parker was thrown for a loss only 5 times. And already today, the Tennessee defense has caught him for losses 4 times. This time again, Drummond's.
The speed of Tennessee is the superior factor, at least thus far in the game. Both offensively and defensively, they've been quicker than the Air Force Academy.
Now we have Scott Ham averaging 41.2 yards a kick on 4th down, punting for the Academy. Booms one. Bobby Majors, one of the Tennessee men deep. That is Bobby. "55 yards, Bobby Majors, and only a junior." And Bobby Majors had to put the move on Scott Ham, who kicked the ball in order to get there. There he is, number 44. He's a tremendous young man, Bud.
He was hit a little harder by his own teammates in their joy.
32-7 on a punt return of approximately 55 yards by Bobby Majors of Sewanee, Tennessee.
But that was a great team play. Great moves by Majors, but tremendous blocking by the Tennessee linemen.
So it'll be George Hunt now trying for to continue his perfect record on conversions today. It's up and good. So after a minute and a half of play, Tennessee has scored. Best wishes for the merriest of holidays from ABC. For the timeout here at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana, the score, Tennessee 31, the Air Force 7. We return to our studios for this message.
2 feet of fresh snow fell last night. The high range is cut off. If the cattle can't get to you, you've got to get to the cattle. Come to where the flavor is. Famous Marlboro Red or new Marlboro 100s, the Longhorns. Come to Marlboro Country.
Shielding his eyes from a bright sun here in New Orleans is All-American Ernie Jennings, awaiting George Hunt's kick as Bobby Majors returned the punt 55 yards for another Tennessee score. Hunt's kick is short, coming down at about the 16. And it's Jennings who came up from behind to cover the ball. Jim Smith was back there deep.
Let's watch the excellent blocking on this punt return for the touchdown again. You can see Majors. He's hit the wall of blockers along the line of scrimmage. He makes a great move against Ham here. Ham did not even lay a glove on him as he takes it into the end zone for the score. Fine team play and a great move by Bobby Majors.
And again, Bud, the Air Force, bad field position at their own 13.
The best field position they've had in the game is their own 22-yard line on an exchange.
Here's Parker. And despite tremendous pressure, he hits Bassa. And that gets them deep out of the hole, bringing it out to the 31-yard line.
The Air Force team defeated Stanford during the regular season 31-14. So this is a very sound, fine football team. They're having their troubles today with a fired-up, very quick Tennessee ball club.
Now off an 18-yard gain with a first down at their own 31. The Falcons. Paul Bassa. Incomplete. Second down at 10 as Jackie Walker moved laterally to cover on the play. About 13 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
I'm not sure that Parker didn't intentionally ground that when Bassa was so well covered. Had he gotten the ball up in the air at all, it might have been an interception.
Parker has thrown 24 times. He has completed 11. Jennings, his All-American, has only one reception today. It was intended for Ernie, number 22 in the Air Force blue jersey. Defensive coverage by sophomore Conrad Graham. So that'll bring up a third down and 10 from approximately the 31.
Two places the Air Force must pick up the blocking of their offensive line, and also they've got to be able to handle the defensive secondary of Tennessee.
Third down. Bassa going out, Jennings going out, and double coverage on Bassa. But nevertheless, he makes the catch at the 39 as he was covered by Walker, 52, and Conrad Graham, 37. And the advance is out to the 39.
Let's watch Jackie Walker, number 52, Tennessee's great linebacker. Not very big, 191 pounds, but great lateral movement, great speed. He's there going for the ball, but Parker was so perfectly on target, even though that it was total double coverage, he completed the pass.
And despite the completion, short of a first down on 4th and 2, Scott Ham's punt, and Majors gets it. This time denied any return by Odira Mitchell and Tom McKiernan. And it's a 47-yard boot for Scott Ham. We have a timeout here at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana. The score in the third quarter, Tennessee 31, Air Force 7. Following a long punt by Scott Ham of the Air Force, Tennessee's offensive unit is on the field. They're at the 12, first and 10. Last time they were this deep, they fumbled it into the end zone for an Air Force touchdown, but this time Kurt Watson made sure to hang on to the ball. Willie Mossfield and Ogilvie, number 70, in on the tackle. We have a penalty marker on the field. 11:57 remaining in the third quarter. The only score here in the third quarter came on a 55-yard punt return by Tennessee's Bobby Majors. And it comes back to the 2-yard line.
Tennessee has been doing an outstanding job of checking away from the quick jump defense used by the Air Force before the ball is snapped. They've been going on the first audible part of the time and then going on a long count where they can get a good look at the defensive pattern after it changes, but they did miss their timing on the last play.
Correction on the line of scrimmage. It's the 7, first and 15. Watson, number 31, the fullback. Moving closer to the 10 is Ogilvie. Comes in to make the stop. The ball is at the 9. Second down and 13 for Tennessee. They lead 31-7. And a little muscle there on Kurt Watson, number 31. Baum, one of the tacklers, number 33. He is a senior from Brookfield, Wisconsin.
He's a fine linebacker. He was the leading tackler for Air Force during the regular season, having made 76 tackles.
3rd and 10 now, here in the third quarter for Tennessee.
And that was his 8th tackle today.
We have Thompson split to the near side. The flanker opposite is McLean. And it's McCleary who carried. He scored the first 2 touchdowns for Tennessee. And this brings up a 4th down as Mayfield and Haas.
3rd and long, the handoff was a good call. Usually the defensive team is trying to penetrate to get back to the passer. As they're trying to go around the blocks, the handoff hits so quickly, if it breaks clean, it can pick up long yardage.
So on a 4th down and 7, the Tennessee punter, Bobby Majors. Smith is deep. And he was calling for a fair catch. Number 42 bobbled it momentarily, retained possession at the Tennessee 48, Bud.
And this is the first time that Air Force has gotten the ball on the exchange in Tennessee territory. Actually, they've only had the ball across their own 20-yard line once, and that was on the 22.
Beginning next Saturday on ABC, the Professional Bowlers Tour returns for the 10th consecutive year. The first stop will be the United States Open, January 9th, St. Paul, Minnesota, at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. That's Professional Bowlers Tour. Bob Parker, quarterback now from the Tennessee 48, first down. This time, the tailback, Bream, on the reception for a couple of yards. Jackie Walker come over to tackle along with Priest.
Can't say enough, Chris, about the play of the 4-deep secondary at Tennessee. David Allen, Bobby Majors, Priest, and Graham. They simply are superior football players. Their techniques are great, their speed is great, and they really hit.
They're convincing all of us that they could play any team in America. 2nd and 8 from the 46. Pinpoint pass to Paul Basso. Basso is inside the Tennessee 35. Let's call it the 34. Rotella making the stop, and it's an Air Force 1st and 10.
Let's take a look at it again. Brennan faking over the ball as Parker comes out after faking the handoff and hitting outside of the linebacker to Bassa, who makes a good move downfield after making the reception.
Now Jennings as the flanker to the near side of the field from the 34 of Tennessee. Intended for Jennings, it was off the mark. So it'll be a 2nd down and 10 for the Falcons. Bobby Majors covering deep for the Volunteers.
I wonder if they had a missed signal there, Chris. It appeared that Parker was throwing the hook cut while Jennings was running the sideline pattern.
There are 23 defensive players listed on the Tennessee roster. 14 are sophomores, 3 seniors, and 6 juniors. This is a look at Basso, who has 8 catches, 82 yards. He's to the near side of the field. Green. The Green from San Leandro, California. Got some yardage and is stopped by David Allen. Short of the 25 at the 27. So it'll be a 3rd down and 3.
During the regular season, Bream averaged 4.3 yards per play. In the first half, he had a total of 6 yards gained. Those 6 yards gained were on 7 carries.
Bassa 80, 49 Green, 34 is Brennan, and number 10 is Bobby Parker. Touchdown, Air Force, Paul Bassa. A 27-yard scoring play. Bob Parker hitting Paul Bassa, number 80. And it's 31-13. Craig Berry now trying for the point after. Holding is Sid Matala. And the kick is no good with 8 minutes and 22 seconds remaining in the third quarter. each week throughout the fall and in the winter. Watch ABC for college football with timeout the score, Tennessee 31, Air Force 13. That's Jimmy Smith at the ball for the Air Force following a Falcon touchdown. Moving up the ball is Berry. A hard kick to field. It's taken by Kevin Milam. Slipping away. And then several Falcons making sure at the far side of the field.
Let's watch the Air Force touchdown again. Parker rolling out, faking the draw play to Breen, keeping the ball. And you can't throw it any better than this one. Bassa is just barely open, but Parker had it perfectly on target for the touchdown.
Air Force marched 48 yards in 5 plays. The scoring play, a 27-yard beauty. First and 10 now for Tennessee at their own 33. They lead 31-13. And it's McLean, the flanker, who gets the ball and is immediately tackled by Jimmy Smith and number 24, Charlie Richardson. Now we pause 5 seconds for station identification. Paul Bassa, his 9th reception in this game. During the season, he had a total of 38. However, this was his first touchdown. So now after a 4-yard gain, it's 2nd and 6. Steve Wold, number 32, from his fullback position, goes forward, and Ogilvie stops him at approximately the 42. So it'll be 3rd down and 1 here at the Sugar Bowl. You just joined us. Tennessee led at the end of the first quarter, 21-7. At halftime, 24-7. Bobby Majors ran a punt back for a touchdown for Tennessee, and then the Air Force has scored, so it's 31-13. Air Force missing the point after. Bobby Scott, they need 1 yard. Very close. Steve Wold coming outside. Whaley on the tackle. They needed that much yardage on 3rd down. On the far sideline, you see the Falcons and their head coach, Ben Martin. And we're going to have a measurement. A week from tomorrow, it'll be the Hula Bowl. But speaking of tomorrow, the exciting East-West Shrine game. Graduating seniors and great ones. To be seen from Oakland, California, live and in color, here on ABC. 4:30 Eastern Time as Tennessee comes up with its 14th first down. And the ball is at the 43.
And to get back in the game, the Air Force needs a big interception or a big fumble.
33 that you saw in blue, Phil Baum, who's had quite a game. Now for Tennessee, McLean is flanked to the far side. Thompson split away from the interior lineman at the bottom of your screen. And Bobby Scott took advantage of Thompson's ability to get loose. Quick pass, Smith covering.
Thompson is not particularly fast, but he certainly has marvelous moves downfield. His faking, change of pace, and then breaking for the ball with the great timing of Scott's throws, making it very difficult to cover one-on-one.
And he's only 6 feet tall. Scott now 15 of 23 for 202 yards. We have a 2nd and 4 for the Volunteers at their own 49. Whoops. The ball went from Bobby Scott to Mike Bevins, who centered the ball.
And we have the handkerchief on the field. You can't throw the ball to those ineligible receivers.
All right, now here will be the signal. All right, and that's a loss of a down also. If an ineligible receiver touches the ball, it's also loss of down.
Scott thought, of course, that was his fullback as he was throwing the ball. His number is 31, Kurt Watson, and as he was pressed, he thought he was finding an eligible man.
5 yards and loss of a down, so it's 3rd and 9 at the 44 for Tennessee. Trot to the far side, along with McLean splitting opposite. Fourth down now for the Volunteers, 4th and 9 from their own 44, so the Air Force will get the football. 6:33 remaining in the third quarter. The pass intended for Stan Trott, number 92. So we'll get a look at Bobby Major's punting form. And the Air Force Academy now sends 2 men deep. Jimmy Smith, 42, and number 47 on the far side, Sid Matala. There's Majors. Into the wind, with the wind to his back, he booms it. That was Jimmy Smith calling for a fair catch again. Deep in their own territory, the 13, 43-yard punt. Beginning next Sunday on ABC at 2 Eastern Time, it's the NBA Game of the Week, Los Angeles versus Detroit. And immediately following the NBA Game of the Week, you'll see award-winning hunting and fishing series, The American Sportsman. That's next Sunday, the NBA Game of the Week, followed by The American Sportsman at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time.
The Tennessee punting game during the regular season was magnificent. Majors averaged 36.3 yards per kick, and the return average was only 3.5 yards per return.
Mike Boland and Jennings for the Air Force to the far side. From the 13, Parker gives to Bream. And Bream draws a crowd about as large as the crowd on Bourbon Street celebrating the New Year last night.
And again, great field position football by Tennessee as they gave the ball to the Air Force on the Air Force 13.
So with the ball at the 15, it's a 2nd down and 8 from the Goodyear blimp. This live color shot of Tulane Stadium. Mike Boland is left and Jennings right. Quickie to Boland. Nice job of breaking away by Boland. He's a senior from Phoenix, Arizona, at number 83.
Big play, gave the Air Force a little breathing room.
Nice 14-yard gain out to the 29, 1st and 10. Tennessee has snapped the ball 52 times. The Air Force has had 50 plays. So already we've had 102 plays in this ball game. Parker. And he hits Jennings, his 2nd catch of the Sugar Bowl. Graham covering on the play. And another good advance to the 46.
You see Jennings starting downfield on the right of the screen as Parker fakes the draw, rolls out. Jennings is not quite ready. When Parker's ready, he has to bring the ball down again, but he throws a perfect strike. Double coverage on Jennings every play.
And Jennings is out of the lineup now, replaced by number 91, Greg Phillipson from Seattle, Washington. 1st and 10 from the 46, the Air Force. Mike Boland.
David Allen made up his mind that he would not miss any more tackles as he came up on that quick sideline cut.
And allowed only a 3-yard gain, where it'll be 2nd and 7 at the 49 of the Falcons. Parker has completed 18 of 33, or 55% of his passes for 194 yards. Phillipson flanked at the bottom of your screen on 2nd and 7.
Great pressure by the Tennessee defensive line. Parker is doing an outstanding job of throwing the ball when he really has had very little luck with his running attack. He's been 29 yards on 19 running plays. It's very difficult to throw the ball effectively when you are not pressing the defense any more than that with your rushing attack. However, his passing has been excellent in spite of the lack of balance between passing and running.
And that last play, number 64, Elmendorfer, grabbed number 10, Parker. Faced now with a 3rd and 7 as a result. And it's batted down once more. And number 83, he is a master at that. That's 4 of them today, Frank Howell.
I always feel that the best pass defense is don't let the receivers downfield or don't let the ball cross the line of scrimmage. And the Tennessee linemen have shown their quickness and agility by their ability to rise up and knock that ball down.
Now Scott Ham kicking into about an 8-mile-an-hour breeze here in New Orleans, Louisiana. Mitchell snapping the ball. Here's Ham's kick off the side of his foot. Fair catch and touched. Called for. Look out. David Allen calling for the fair catch. Jamie Rotella recovering the muff fair catch following a 32-yard punt. So the ball now is at the 10 of Tennessee, just across it, as you see. 31-13, Tennessee leads with 4:20 remaining in the third quarter. Bobby Scott, senior quarterback from Rossville, Georgia, number 10. And even though he was on his knees, a tremendous catch at about the 22 by Gary Thyler.
Look at Thyler again. He's the tight end for the University of Tennessee. He's split out this time, however. He drives down the field as Scott rolls out toward the top of the screen. Thyler goes to the ground, but Scott's pass is on target. Thyler made a fine reception, recovering with good agility, catching the ball on his knees.
Now Thyler, 20, comes to the near side of the field. He's a native of Louisville, Kentucky. Thompson is split opposite from the 23, first down. Scott. Thyler couldn't pick up a pass that was low as a result of a good Air Force rush.
That's the first time that they've really pressured Scott effectively, and he did wind up on the ground even though he got rid of the ball.
Scott has completed 16 of 27, 59% of his forward passes. During the season, he, in his motivating way, completed 118 passes and 14 touchdowns. And on a 2nd and 10, Kurt Watson, number 31, drives upfield. Scott Ham, 26 and 42 Smith, the tackle on number 31, whose back you see now. And it was sufficient yardage at the 34 for Tennessee first down. McLean to the far side. Thompson is the split end to the near side. And it's Thompson. And you saw Scott very coolly survey all areas of the field.
He did everything with his eyes that time except look at the man he was going to throw to. But the misdirection of the eyes did not keep Jimmy Smith from staying right on the receiver.
Ball now just across the 40. Let's call it the 41, a gain of 7. It'll be 2nd down and 3. And quite a bit of passing yardage today by both quarterbacks. Scott with 220, Parker with 194. And Kurt Watson breaks loose.
A great block by Galen Hill. He simply wiped out the defensive tackle, and it was clear sailing for Watson.
And it's a gain of 11, and another Tennessee first down. Coming up to the 2.5-minute mark of the third quarter, Watson replaced by Steve Wold at fullback. Thompson to the far side, beyond the hash marks. Lester McLean, and we do have to say that he was looking back into a bright sun here in New Orleans.
I don't think that he could see the ball at all. And he knew he was wide open. He knew the pass was on target, and he simply lost it. In football, you can't flip those sunglasses down.
But interesting pass patterns flooding the area. And they sure had one Air Force defender worried, didn't they?
Well, they rolled away from him, and whenever you're rolling away from a slot set, you do open up at least one-on-one coverage against the two slot men as the defensive secondary rotates with the movement of the quarterback and the ball.
From the Air Force 48, it's a 2nd down and 10, or rather a 3rd down. Now make it 2nd. It's right the first time. Oh, beautiful pass by Scott to Thompson. Joe Thompson, who caught 37 during the season from his split end position, gets another one here today, and the advance is to the 28, or a 20-yard forward movement by the Volunteers.
As Thompson split out, running a crossing pattern through the posts. Scott had lots of time to throw it, and Thompson was determined to break those tackles.
Number 22, it appears that Ernie Jennings, the All-American, has injured his right knee. We'll get a further report at our first opportunity. You know, 1972 sounds a long way from today, doesn't it? But not for thousands of young American athletes, guys and gals who are now working and training to realize a lifetime dream, that being membership on our 1972 Olympic team. Now, you can be a part of this national endeavor and help send our top athletes to the 1972 Summer Games in Munich, Germany. Here's how. Send your $5 contribution. That's $5 to Olympic House, Box BA, 57 Park Avenue, New York, New York, the zip code 10016. In return, you'll receive a colorful Olympic embroidered cloth emblem for your jacket or cap. Be proud and be part of America's Olympic effort. ABC Sports will be in Munich for the Summer Games to televise all the color and pageantry of this exciting spectacle. And we sincerely hope you'll be able to lend your support to these great athletes. And we don't have too much opportunity from time to time to praise these athletes, the cheerleaders from the various colleges and universities that we cover each year, Bud.
And they are athletes.
This variety, much better looking.
Bobby Scott's having a truly sensational day. He's hit 18 of 30 passes. That's 60% completions. He's made 240 yards, and that's an average of 13 yards per completion. And the offensive line should be given a great deal of credit for the protection they've given him.
The 28 of the Air Force on a first down play. It is Watson carrying. Phil Bauman making the stop. He now has 10 tackles here in the Sugar Bowl. Sugar Bowl, which began in 1934, and it began with Tulane defeating Temple, which made my spotter Bill Friel cringe because he's a Temple graduate. Bobby Scott now on a 2nd and 5.
That's the first time that they've gotten to him.
Most unusual, as the ball now is at the 29. A loss of 6. It'll be 3rd down and 11. Tennessee in Air Force territory. 55 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Tennessee leads 31-13. A slot formation to the far side. And it's the 2nd time that they get to Scott. Mayfield, number 61, rifling through, joined by Buster Alloway as we look at Air Force coach Ben Martin.
Let's take a look at it again, ground level, slow motion. Scott has been rolling out most of the afternoon to avoid the inside blitz rush of the Air Force. This was a drop back pattern, and you can see that he wishes that he had called a rollout to get away from that rush.
4th down and 22, and Majors is back to punt. Just received word that Ernie Jennings, they've taped his knee, and he'll be back in the lineup as Majors gets one very high. And it takes an Academy bounce as though the Falcon had lifted it and brought it back. 2 yards on the distance. At the end of the 3rd quarter here at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana, the score is Tennessee 31, Air Force 13. We return to our studios for this message. If you're watching in color in orange on the left, the Tennessee defense. Now following a Majors punt, the Air Force with the ball in blue at their own 39. First down. Jennings to the far side, so he's back in the lineup. And it's a rushing attempt. Number 34, Kevin Brennan of Chicago, the fullback, carried. And there is Jennings, number 22. Gain of 1 yard, so it'll be 2nd down and 9 for the Falcons, the Air Force Academy. Mike Bowen, number 83, split to the near side. Jennings flanked at the top of your screen. Here's Parker. Jennings, 22, couldn't hold on, 3rd and 9.
And the statistics at the end of the 3rd quarter, Tennessee dominating play, but Air Force doing a good job with their passing attack. The plays 61-54. Tennessee 325 total yards to 223 for the Air Force. 5 turnovers by Air Force, 4 by Tennessee, none in this half. Tennessee has had the ball 25 minutes and 7 seconds. Air Force 19:53.
Now the third play of the fourth quarter, 3rd and 9 for the Air Force. The marker is down. Parker. Ooh, loose ball. Unless ruled that it was a forward motion of the arm. Rotella was the one that knocked the ball loose. Let's see what the penalty will be, Bud.
It's a very difficult thing when you're moving to your own left and you're a right-handed quarterback getting set to throw. You have to turn, and just as Parker turned, he was hit. And the fumble, of course, knocked the ball out of his hand as he tried to throw it. Tennessee recovers, and that's the 6th turnover. Let's take a look at it again. You can see Parker as he rolls out. Jennings starting down the field on the left of the screen. We get a reasonable block there by Breen, and Parker gets away from the first rush. Now as he tries to turn, he is hit before he can start his arm forward, and a clear fumble recovered by Tennessee.
Air Force losing its 4th fumble from the 26, first down for Tennessee. Kurt Watson carry. Rotella was the boy that knocked the ball loose and then covered the fumble.
He's a glum Air Force rooter.
Now from the 25, where it'll be 2nd down and 9. Tennessee leads the Air Force 31-13. Wold is the fullback for Tennessee, number 32. The short side of the field, a slot formation. Scott. We had 4 receivers out.
I was a little surprised to see him call the drop back pattern. Air Force was very successful on Tennessee's last possession in getting to Scott on drop back passes. They haven't pressed him at all when he's used the rollout pattern.
The pass over the outstretched arms of Joe Thompson, which brings up a 3rd down and 9. And in the lineup we have 31 Watson. The tailback is McCleary, number 36 for Tennessee. Intended for Thompson, and a Falcon. Jimmy Smith nearly had it. 4th down and 9. Ball at the 25. The Air Force 25.
Let's watch it again on the slow motion. Thompson has Jimmy Smith move in underneath and almost make the interception.
And now Hunt will try a field goal from the 32 plus the 10 of the end zone. 42 yards into the wind. It's up, and it's no good. Timeout at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. The score, Tennessee 31, Air Force 13. Here at the Sugar Bowl, 4th-ranked and powerful Tennessee, leading the Air Force 31-13 with 13 minutes and 17 seconds left in the ball game. Air Force with the ball following the 3rd field goal that's been missed by Hunt today. His attempt from 42, no good. So Bob Parker now for the Falcons from the 20. And Breen. Ray Nettles coming in to make the stop, getting the congratulations of his volunteer teammates.
By playing Nettles back off the line of scrimmage, as Tennessee does, he gets about a 1.5 yard read before any offensive lineman can get to him. That gives him an opportunity to pick his way through the blockers if they leave any daylight.
As you see, we have a total of 10 turnovers in this, the 37th Sugar Bowl game. Phillipson is in the lineup in place of Jennings to the far side of the field. He's number 91. 2nd and 13. And again, Breen. He's had a frustrating afternoon. Elmendorfer, number 64, from Cleveland, Tennessee, and Frank Howell from Columbia, Tennessee, number 83, on the tackle for another loss. Back to the 14, so it'll be 3rd down and 16. the defensive tackles for Tennessee, we pointed out that there are a total of 14 sophomores in the defensive roster for the Volunteers. And both the tackles, Howell and Elmendorfer, are first-year varsity men. And the 11th turnover, a sophomore, Conrad Graham of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, steals a pass intended for Mike Boland.
Tremendous pressure by the Tennessee defense.
So Tennessee gets the ball at the 21 of the Air Force. Following the opening kickoff, Tennessee moves 60 yards to score. And then a few minutes later, Hunt kicked a 30-yard field goal. Again in the first quarter, McCleary scored his second touchdown. And so it is gone. First touchdown for the Air Force came on a recovered fumble in the end zone. And then Parker marched them 48 yards for the second touchdown, with the Falcons missing the point after. Bobby Scott, the Tennessee quarterback, hit Gary Thaler for another Tennessee touchdown. And so the score stands 31-13. And on that last play, Tennessee moved the yard, bringing up a 2nd and 9, McCleary gaining the yard. Matella making the tackle. Here's Bobby Scott from Rossville, Georgia. And the Air Force number 70, Ogilvy, quickly on the fullback, 32, Wold. The ball is at the 22. Loss of 2, 3rd down and 11 for Tennessee. Watson, 31, coming in the Tennessee huddle, while on the right in blue, the Air Force defense. Thompson and McLean are in a slot formation to the far side. Thaler is split opposite. All three going out. Thaler, the intended receiver, getting close coverage from Matella. So it'll be a 4th down and 11.
Let's watch it again. Fine defensive play by Matella. Thaler going to the inside, through the post, then hooking back. Matella driving cleanly and knocking the ball loose. It could have been interference very easily had he not played the ball as clearly and capably as he did.
And here go the Volunteers on 4th and 11 at the 22 of the Air Force. It's a 1st and goal. Joe Thompson again coming up with a clutch catch. He's had a great day.
Richardson tries to move inside to make the interception here. Watch Richardson now as Thompson breaks to the outside. He thinks he's got the interception, but the ball slips right through his hands and into Thompson's hands. And he makes the catch with a foot inbounds, as you can see. And it's 1st down, Tennessee. That's his 7th catch.
At the 7-yard line, Thompson, number 90, Scott, number 10, pitching it back to McCleary. McCleary, as we indicated earlier, scored the first 2 Tennessee touchdowns. The most exciting to just join us came on a 55-yard punt return by Bobby Major.
Tennessee that time, for the first time today, was in the power I formation to get an extra blocker to try to drive it in from a 1st down inside the 10-yard line.
No gain on the play, so it'll be 2nd and goal for Tennessee, leading 31-13 with 9:58 left in the game. McLean, 85, flank left. Thaler, split right. It was intended for McLean, number 85. Richardson covered him on the play.
Richardson thought again that he should have had the interception.
There we get a look at Bill Battle, who played for Coach Paul Bear Bryant at Alabama, Bud, and who was an assistant with you for a year, and was an assistant at Tennessee, and elevated to the head coaching position, and he's done a great job, hasn't he?
He surely has. He's 29 years old.
3rd and goal. 4th down, coming up. Richardson, blitzing, joined by Ogilvy, and Richardson felt he had stolen the football.
Let's look at it again. It's the safety rush, obviously, with Richardson coming. Scott dropping back. He sets, and here comes Richardson from the safety blitz position making the tackle.
And the loss is back to the 16.5. Here's another field goal attempt. The 5th by Tennessee. They've hit on one. Johnson centering the ball. A 33-yard attempt is up. Good. ABC presents the Sugar Bowl from New Orleans, Louisiana. With timeout the score, Tennessee 34, the Falcons 13. Flying high as a Tennessee cheerleader. But off to the right, we have, or rather Air Force, and we have Curtis Martin deep for the Falcons. Hunt's kick coming off to the near sideline, 5 yards, and he'll re-kick from his own 35.
The Tennessee defense has totally dominated the Air Force rushing attack. Air Force has made 25 yards rushing on 22 plays. However, Parker is having a very good day throwing the ball. He's made 194 yards passing. Air Force had averaged 169 yards rushing per game coming into the Sugar Bowl contest.
9 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in the Sugar Bowl, 34-13 Tennessee. A re-kick by Hunt, who has kicked 2 field goals, 33 yards and 30, has missed 3 others. This one off to the left. Floater, taken by Breen, the fullback. Scrambling for the football on the far side. And the Air Force offensive unit on the field. Mike Healy recovering the fumble at about his own 33.
Even though each team is playing with their own ball, we've had a lot of fumbles. Let's take a look at the kickoff again. It was off the side of his foot. Breen lost his footing, lost the ball, but then it fortunately rolled back, and the recovery was made by Healy.
Here's a 131st play from scrimmage in the ball game. From the 33, Air Force first down. Paul Bassa. 6'5", 199, coming out to about the 39. But the lateral pursuit of the Tennessee defense is amazing.
It certainly is, and the unusual way that they use their middle guard, Ray Nettles, number 58, has caused the Air Force a great deal of trouble. Nettles usually, instead of being on the line of scrimmage in a 3-point stance, is standing up about 1.5 yards off the ball, which gives him a better view of what's happening in the backfield and also a better position from which to move laterally. You can see him back there off the line of scrimmage, leaving apparently a big gap in the middle.
2nd and 5 for the Air Force from the 38. Bream, who specialized during the year at breaking tackles, caught the pass and moved forward. Enough for the first down across the 45. Let's call it the 46. Rotella on the tackle.
Obviously a passing game.
Bobby Parker is quarterbacked all the way for the Air Force, the senior from West Covina, California, number 10. First down from the 46. Looking for Bolin. And Mike has it. Look at that pile up.
We had the blitz called that time by Tennessee, but the Air Force linemen did a good job of picking up the shooting linebackers.
And the advance is to the 48 of Tennessee. A gain of 6, 2nd down and 4. Ben Martin, the Air Force coach.
And he doesn't feel quite as happy as the jaunty tilt of his hat.
Bolin, 83 to the far side in the slot is Greg Phillipson for the Academy.
Backside!
And Parker now going to his tailback, Bream, again, near the 45. And we seem to be calling number 57 often today, sophomore Rotella, Jamie Rotella. And the middleman again, Ray Nettles. Here's Parker. What was his grade average, Bud?
It was 3.76 out of a possible 4.0. He's a scholarship winner of the Football Foundation Hall of Fame this year.
He's got a pretty good average on his passing here in the Sugar Bowl today, too. Now he's faced with a 3rd and 1 from the Tennessee 45. Interception, Conrad Graham. The 4th interception. And the Air Force has 4 fumbles that they lost. Tough afternoon for the Cadets.
Let's watch it again. Bolin coming to the inside on the X pattern. He got a hand on it. It bounced up in the air, and Graham alertly caught the ball, and he truly fights for yardage here. Looked for a moment like he was trying to throw a lateral, but he wisely held on to the ball.
6 minutes, 19 seconds left in the game. 34-13 Tennessee. They have the ball at their own 40. First down. Bobby Scott. And Jimmy Young, number 91. Again, a sophomore from Franklin, Kentucky.
Watch Young. He was a wide receiver. He goes down the field as the slot back goes to the outside, pulling the linebacker with him to open up the lane. Young making the catch.
A 13-yard gain to the Air Force 47. To the far side, that young man, Young, joined by Phillipson. Young again, the intended receiver. Jimmy Smith covering, number 42. Second down and 10. Bobby Scott has completed 20 of 37 for 274 yards. One of his touchdown passes was caught by Gary Filer. She's squinting from the sunshine, not from displeasure, because her team is in the lead, 34-13. Young and Scott going out on patterns. George Silvey, number 43, a junior fullback from Nashville, Tennessee, caught that one at the Air Force 37.
I think it's interesting to note that when the Air Force played Stanford, the great Jim Plunkett, the Heisman Trophy winner, only had 17 completions and 35 attempts and no touchdowns. So Scott is outdistancing Plunkett this afternoon.
Right. First downs, Tennessee with 20, the Air Force with 12. And Bud, speaking of Plunkett, we'll be talking about Plunkett and all the great stars in the Hula Bowl a week from tomorrow.
It should be a great game. We have the best of the college players of this year.
There we are in that little booth here at the Tulane Stadium. Scott of Tennessee now has 292 yards passing. Now he'll try to work from the 28. Second down and 1. Rolling through with Steve Wold. Enough for the first down, of course, as Haas made the tackle. Haas is the boy that scored the first Air Force touchdown, recovering a fumble by the quarterback Scott of Tennessee in the end zone.
Coach Bill Battle felt before the game that his receivers would be a little bit quicker than the Air Force secondary, and that has been the major factor in today's game.
The 142nd play of the ball game. And it's an interception by Sid Matala. Trott was the intended receiver. There's Matala, number 47, joined by Richardson, number 24, going to the far sideline. Timeout at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. The score, Tennessee 34, Air Force 13, as we return to our studios for this message.
Okay, let's have a walk go now.
Come to where the flavor is. Come to Marlboro country.
Let's watch the interception again. Scott gets a very hard rush down the middle here as he sets to throw. It's a little bit of a rollout. Appeared that Whaley would get to him, but he is hit just as he delivers the ball. Very, very hard by Holloway. And that had the pass a little bit underthrown.
And following the interception from the 20, Bob Parker tried to get one on the board as Paul Basso was the intended receiver. So it'll be a 2nd down and 10 for the Falcons, who trailed at the end of the first quarter 21-7. At halftime, 24-7. At the end of the third, 31-13. And in the fourth quarter, Tennessee has added a field goal.
By far the most turnovers, Chris, that I believe we've had any game we've done together in 5 years.
A total of 13. 4 fumbles, 4 interceptions on the Air Force, 2 interceptions and 3 fumbles, Tennessee. And we nearly had another interception. Parker now has completed 22 of 44 for 207 yards. 50% completions with 4 interceptions. This is the 37th year that they've staged the Sugar Bowl, and on individual feats, the most yards gained on running and passing for an individual, not last year when Bill Montgomery put together 360 yards. Parker of the Air Force. Intended for Mike Boland, the senior from Phoenix, number 83. Bobby Majors covering on the play, along with Bill McLaughlin of Portland.
And that Tennessee secondary picks them up man for man. They, to use the coach's terms, truly lock onto them.
There's the time left. It's going to be a 4th down play, and Scott Ham undoubtedly will punt. The total for both quarterbacks now is 44 completions in 85 attempts. Bobby Majors. And Majors earlier ran one back for a 55-yard score. Scott Ham, the punter, making the tackle. Marker is down. And it appears that that is Bobby Majors down on the field. A timeout at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. The score, Tennessee 34, Air Force 13. Let's return to our studio for this message.
Aren't we lucky that there are gutsy young men willing to put their dreams, their principles on the line, ready to take risks, knowing they might be hurt, but taking them anyway.
Well, aren't I supposed to be emotionally involved? Aren't I supposed to care about my client?
No, just defend her.
The young lawyers.
Objection, Your Honor. He's a man who is not dissuaded by those cautious souls who say, hey, I don't want to get involved. It's not my responsibility. I think I ought to have my head examined.
You were involved. You were protective, outraged, frustrated. Do you know what a hard fact is, Aaron? I mean, without opinion, without sentimental bias.
Lee J. Cobb, Zalman King,
Well, there's our case.
and Judy Pace. Out for justice in The Young Lawyers.
On the stretcher here at the Sugar Bowl, it's quite an athlete, Bobby Majors, injured as he was running back an Air Force punt. We hope he's not seriously injured, although by the way he cut, appeared that something happened to a knee.
It certainly did look that way. Let's watch the return again. The kick was low. He caught it with a full head of steam and gets the usual fine blocking as he makes a great move. It appeared that he was almost in the daylight when Ham came across to make the tackle, and you can see him here as he tried to break the tackle.
And as a result of a clipping penalty on the play, Tennessee was forced to move the ball on that play from its own 43. And that quarterback They have a new one in number 16, Jim Maxwell, a junior. He handed off to Sylvie on that play. So he moved it to the 46, where now it'll be 2nd down and 7.
And someone has put a smoke flare in the Air Force end zone.
Intended for Sonny Leach, as Coach Bill Battle sends in some of the reserves now. Metella going for the interception. Here's a better look at Jim Maxwell, a junior from Nashville, Tennessee, 6'2", 183 pounds.
The last pass was quite well executed, but just that minute difference between the execution of the starting team and their backup players.
3rd down and 7 now for Tennessee. No gain, Steve Wold. And we just received word that they are taking Bobby Majors to the hospital for x-rays as a possible break fracture. That's a tough one.
Well, you can see that leg go up as he tried to break the tackle, but he was hit so solidly that he had no chance to do it.
So George Hunt, the kickoff and field goal specialist, replaces Majors as the punter. 42 is Jimmy Smith for the Air Force at the 12. Coming out to the 15 and down at the 21. Don't forget, beginning next Sunday, January 10th, American Sportsman returns to the air. Next Sunday in each week, following NBA basketball. Don't forget, that's January 10th for the return. Professional Bowlers Tour returns January 9th on Saturday, preceding Wide World of Sports. Then on Sundays, of course, the NBA Game of the Week. And a highlight of the NBA season will be the All-Star Game the night of January 12th from San Diego. And following this game today, you'll see 30 minutes of last year's highlights of the National Basketball Association. Here is Parker from his own 21. Phillipson, number 91, a senior from Seattle.
Let's watch it again. Parker on the right, rolling out as Phillipson drives down the field, takes the inside cut as his slot man goes to the outside, then turns again to his outside as Parker delivers the ball. He goes high in the air here to bring the ball down. It was a prevent defense by Tennessee. Their 2 safety men were right there.
A 26-yard gain at the 47, 1st down. 34-13. A minute 42 left in the game. Everybody wants the ball. And it's another interception, the 5th. Fumble, rather. Excuse me. It's the 5th fumble. That combined with 4 interceptions, but a total of 9 errors.
And that makes it a little hard to win. However, you've got to give Tennessee a great deal of the credit for most of those turnovers. It's been the quickness and the great pursuit forcing the play by their defense. You always hope that your defense will attack the offense, and believe me, that's what Tennessee has done today.
And Simonton knocked the ball loose for the defense. And Maxwell, the junior, or rather Dennis Chadwick, the sophomore quarterback from Decatur, number 21, Decatur, Georgia, recovered his own fumble there. Bill Battles.
He doesn't look as elated as I know he feels.
But do you realize we've had 150 plays in this ball game? Now from the 40, it's 2nd down and 11 for Tennessee. We're at the Air Force 40. Chadwick. Of course, we constantly talk about the action and excitement in college football. Much of it because of the number of plays that are reeled off as compared to professional football, Bud.
Well, the college teams are anxious to put the ball in play. They get in and out of the huddle with great speed, and they don't have any long delays. They're so anxious to take advantage of every moment on the clock.
And they average approximately 30 more plays a game than do the professionals. And Chadwick, the sophomore, has caught a thrill, completing a pass in the Sugar Bowl to Steve Wold, his fullback, as Bowman makes another tackle at approximately the 33, bringing up a 4th down and 4.
And there you can see the total offensive plays, 152. Remarkable speed and tempo.
39 seconds left in the Sugar Bowl. Robert Lassiter to this side. Opposite is Sonny Leach. And it's Lassiter from Bethpage, Tennessee, another sophomore, grabbing it, and then tackled by Gary Blank. Friends, 2 million people in Pakistan are faced with starvation exposure disease. The Pakistan flood was the worst natural disaster of this century. It will be a greater disaster if we don't care. So whatever amount you can, send it to Save the Survivors, Pakistan Relief Fund, Box 1670, Washington, D.C. So it's a Tennessee first down from the 21 of the Air Force, looping one into the end zone, and that youngster can really throw. Intended for sophomore Merlin Hood, number 23, from East Moline, Illinois. 2 seconds remaining in the Sugar Bowl.
For the presentation of the trophies following today's game.
Giving us an opportunity to thank Mr. A.B. Nichols, president of the New Orleans Midwinter Sports Association, and Sam Cornsweat, Jr., and everybody here in New Orleans for the great hospitality, friendship, and help that we've gotten here the last few days. We've enjoyed it a lot. Dennis Chadwick calling signals now on a second down and 10. Probably the last play of the ball game. 3 receivers going out. And that's it. Ben Martin of the Air Force Academy. Here comes Bill Battles, 29 years old, and as head coach in his first postseason classic, he is the victor. The handshake, 34-13. Immediately following the Sugar Bowl telecast today, you'll want to stay tuned for a special program of NBA basketball highlights. Coming up next on ABC. So as we look at the University of Tennessee, prior to the Southland Band, they are the happiest musical group in Tulane Stadium because it was their team that came into the game 10 wins and a loss and convincingly down the Air Force Academy Falcons 34-13. There you see Majorettes, the darlings of the University of Tennessee, and their band members, and a little bit later on, all the bands will form. As we look at the Sugar Bowl now, the fans leaving, and this is a shot from the Goodyear blimp, our live color camera up there, approximately 1,200 feet, giving you this view of this gigantic stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana. So the favored team, Tennessee, is the victor, 34-13.
I think, Chris, it's interesting to note, too, that Bobby Parker did have a very fine day throwing the ball for the Air Force Academy. His running attack only made 25 total yards.
All right, once again, the final score is Tennessee 34, the Air Force 13. The executive producer of the Sugar Bowl is Roone Arledge. Coverage of today's game was produced by Chuck Howard, directed by Andy Sedaris, technical director Walt Cubulus. Don't forget tomorrow on ABC's Wide World of Sports at 3 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific Time, you'll see the World Cup Alpine Skiing Championship from Val d'Isere, France, and the National Drag Racing Championships from Indianapolis, Indiana. Then immediately following ABC's Wide World of Sports, you'll see the 46th Annual East-West Shrine football game from Oakland, California. Bill Fleming and Don Meredith covering the game for you. All this coming your way on ABC. And now, thanks to our spotter, Bill Friel, and our statistician, Jerry Kapstein, this is Chris Schenkel along with Bud Wilkinson saying so long from the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana.